All set to go?
Yep.
All right. This is the Out of Bounds Sports Podcast. I'm Don. He's
I'm
Rich.
Rick.
All right. Young Richard. Even though it's early in the baseball season, very early.
Mhm. Yeah,
I,
very.
which I can't believe people are panicking. But anyway,
Yeah, we'll get
I
into that.
I thought that today we could go over some of the surprises, some of the
Yeah,
disappointments for the
sure.
start. And
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I got a couple of sleepers I want to talk about, and we'll do that
absolutely.
right after this.
Rise up! Rise up! It's game time!
All right, Richard, let's start with you. Give me
Yeah.
the news.
Well, I'll tell you right now. The two teams that have got me really surprised and happily, I'm really surprised how well the Reds have started off. At the beginning, they looked a little shaky, and I know you and I were talking about that being one of the teams to look for this year. And so far, I mean, they're 8-5, a half game behind the Brewers, who are 8-4. Another team I'm really surprised, and I'm happily surprised, and I'm not just because I'm a Penguins and Steeler fan, but I'm really surprised and happy to see that the Pirates have had a really good start, starting off at 8-5. Now, whether they can hold it together and keep that momentum going all season it remains to be seen. But we can say that about a lot of the teams that have started off. A lot of people are all getting on the bandwagon for the Yankees because the Yankees started so quickly. They were, I think, 8-1 at one point. Well, they're 8-4 now. They have a series against Tampa right now, who's tied with the Jays. Tied for third, and we've got a series going. The Jays have got a series going with the Twins at Rogers Center. So there's a chance for the Jays to pick up some ground, and Tampa, if they can beat Yankee. We can see how good Yankees do if they can get the momentum going again, or they're coming down. So far those are the two teams. Well, the three teams, because I like you. The bandwagon jumpers are the ones that are already calling off the season. And let them go, right? The true fans that know the Jays and have faith, we know that they're going to get their act together. 2 weeks in the season, you're not going to already say, because there's teams that are playing above their head. There's teams like the Jays that have got players that have, like the Jays have got a lot of injuries too, and they've got a couple of guys, who are starting off slow. But they forget last year the Jays started off slow, and they ended up turning it around and becoming AL champs. So we'll have to see. So what are your teams?
Well, first of all, I want to talk about the injuries. I know that the Jays have had a handful to start off the season, and teams tend to use injuries as an excuse. I'll just let you know that I don't buy that bullshit, because every team's going to have injuries. Okay, I don't care
Absolutely.
who you are. You're not going to have a full season without key players being hurt. So
Yeah.
that to me isn't an excuse. You've got a strong enough lineup. People need to understand. Last year, by the end of April, they were under 500.
Yeah.
So you know what? Like, just settle the fuck down, because
Exactly. Like, chill. Fuck. Well, if you've already given up on after 2 weeks.
I actually had three teams at the beginning of the season who I thought that people should keep their eye on. No one talks about them. Number one would be Milwaukee Brewers. People forget
Yeah.
they were the best team in baseball last year, and no
Yeah,
one
they
said
were.
anything about them. No one said a
Yeah.
word about them. Well,
Yeah.
and here they are, starting off strong again this year.
Yeah.
Um, I like Cincinnati. They did finally make the playoffs last year. For some reason, they seem to be considered Cleveland's ugly little sister. I've been to Cleveland. I'd argue that point.
Yeah.
So I remember, and I enjoyed when they were the Big Red Machine.
Mm-hmm.
Like they took back-to-back championships in 75, 76.
Yeah.
The roster they had, come on.
Oh, George Foster,
George Foster,
Johnny Bench,
Johnny Bench, best catcher ever.
Pete
Um,
Rose, Carl
Pete Royce,
Yastrzemski.
no. Joe Morgan, Ken Griffey Sr., um, Tony Perez. They
Oh,
kept up
Tony
the
Perez.
and like, like, like they were just a stacked team. And believe
Yeah.
it or not, at that time, I don't know if it's changed. They're the only team to go undefeated through all the playoffs. Now, I have to add asterisks there
Yeah,
because
that's be.
because now that baseball has caught up and realized, hey, let's stick a bunch of teams in the playoffs so we can make a whole bunch of money. Back back then, there were 4 teams: top 2 NL, top 2
Mm-hmm.
AL.
Yeah.
For your divisional championship, it was 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
For the World Series, it was 4 out of 7. So yeah, they won 8 in a row, or no, 7 in a row, right?
Yeah.
The other team that they looked like they were coming close last year, and even though they haven't started off great this year, I got to keep my eye on Kansas City because
Yeah.
I think there's something there, and
Mm-hmm.
and I just these teams are basically 3 small market teams,
Mm-hmm.
which tends to happen. No one except the people in that market tends to even pay attention to them. We
Yeah.
in Toronto, I'm going to say, are a medium market team. We're not a big market team.
No.
Uh, so, but the team I'm going to really keep my eye on this year. I think is going to surprise more than a lot of people. It's going to be Cincinnati.
No, you're absolutely right. That's why I mentioned the Reds. They've got a young team. They got a lot of speed, and from what I understand, they've got a really strong farm system coming up with some young players. You never know. They could pull a Blue Jays. What Blue Jays did last year when they brought up Barger and all them,
And all of a sudden,
and they went on fire.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, getting back with the Jays. Jimenez, who had a really good spring, and for some reason they decided to, and this is no slight against Snyder because he's good, but it was between Snyder and Jimenez who went down, and they put Jimenez down. The guy's batting Jimenez in Buffalo was batting 375 with a 8-something on base percentage. And he's batting the ball, and there's a couple of other young guys that they're really getting good positive feedback from the farm system that they could possibly bring up if they need to. I have to get back to the Pirates though. I'm really happy about that because you follow baseball like I do. The Pirates for years were just like they were shit. And it didn't look like there was any type of positive stuff in the future for them to get any better. And all of a sudden, I don't know. I have no idea who their manager is, what players they picked up, what players they let go to whatever. But so far, I mean, 8-5 is not a bad way to start the season. And like I said, like I say with the Reds, let's see if they can keep it going. You were right about the Brewers. The Brewers were the best team. The Jays and them were fighting there for the best team in all of baseball, and it ended up being the Brewers. Yeah, they ran into a hot Dodgers team, right, in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Who knows what could happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what they're eating in Pittsburgh either. I know it's got absolutely nothing to do with ownership, because that guy doesn't spend money. Like he just puts a team out there and figures people will show up, right? Like I mean, and I know this is a hard call for me because a couple of videos ago we were talking about the players making too much money, so you can't talk
Yeah.
shit about an owner who's not paying them, right?
No, he's getting results out of a low budget team.
Yeah, so like I mean,
Yeah, I never thought of that. We really can't say too
yeah,
much. We're swinging a lot of
yeah.
swords there.
So I can't say what he's doing is wrong. I think a lot more teams should be doing that. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah,
As
for
for
another day.
Jimenez, I believe part of the reason why he got set down were the errors. And the one glaring error against Chicago that cost him the game. Right?
Yeah.
So see ya. Like you know what? You're not ready for the big boys yet. I'm not expecting a strong April out of the Blue Jays. What I am looking forward is how the Blue Jays are going to catch up is the Yankees playing against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, for some reason, is so tough on the teams in their own division. Like,
Yeah.
they just beat them all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know why that is.
Yeah.
But I say bring it on, because
this is
I
what
like
I was
the
saying too. No, this is what I was saying too for the series. The Twins are 7-6, so I mean they're beatable. If you listen to Vlad after the Jays came back against the Dodgers and won that game 4-3, he basically came back and said we're coming. So he seems to think that this little thing might have, put a kick in their keister to see what they do. We have to watch, the Twins. The Twins 7-6, but remember, I think last year the Jays kind of had a little bit of trouble with the Twins, so I don't know how that's going to be this year. But it's a great opportunity for them to gain some ground. I mean, it's not that bad. They're only 3 games out.
Yeah.
But in order for them not to fall behind, they got to keep up with Tampa. So if Tampa wins, they got to keep winning so they don't fall back in the second last place. So it should be an interesting weekend. I like to see what they do, but yeah, you're right. They probably might not have the best April, but I'm still not worried about it. That team there is a team. I mean, that team is family, and they have a really good manager in Snyder. So I'm not really worried about it right yet. I'll start worrying in late August, September, to see if they're up there or they're kind of playing instant. That's when you start looking. Maybe July. That's when you start looking and maybe start to point fingers and start maybe making suggestions on this and that. But till then, give them a chance to get underway. To see, they've got a few new players on their team. Everybody's got to get used to it. And you're right, the injury shouldn't be an excuse. It kills me that they picked up Ponce and he's gone for the season. Over a play. I mean, a play like that happens. I've seen runners. I've seen guys hit a ball and run to first base and try to and pull their hamstring. That happens. I was really looking forward to seeing what he could do this year, but there's next year.
Yep.
But we'll see. Anyways, what do you think? Any other add-ons?
Okay, as for you were talking about Tampa Bay, I'm not concerned about Tampa Bay. I don't think that they're built for the long haul yet. So they're going to have spurts where they'll take on the teams in the East and they'll beat them and they'll beat the Jays and whatever. But every team they play is not in the East. So I don't give a shit about that, right? Like, I mean, the people who are jumping off the bandwagon for the Jays have to understand that during the offseason they got better. And they were a run away from the World Series last year. So just calm the fuck down because because there's so much season left. Once they develop a chemistry, it's going to be a whole different situation. The thing is that what I haven't heard of so far yet, which is surprising me, is panic about the Yankees or panic about the Mets. I haven't heard any about that, and or about Boston. Those are the first 3 teams. Like, oh my god, the world's over. Oh.
Well, Boston.
We just lost 2 games in a row. We just lost 2 games.
I listen to. I don't know if you do, and it's a plug. I guess it might be a plug for a podcast for another podcast. Um, it's called New York Minute, and the guy there he talks about the Yankees. Was so funny listening to him last year when the Yankees were starting to suck shit, and they were like, he was condemning. He called Aaron Baboon. He was like going up, and then this year when they started so quickly, oh my God, I love Chaz, I love him. And everything. He hated his guts last year. Now he loved him. Now all of a sudden, Chaz is starting to screw up again. Now he's getting back on his case. And here they go again. Well, I guess we should expect this. The Yankees are starting to. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, that's a Yankee. That's a Yankee a fan and a podcaster, because I hear a lot of that. The Mets, I don't know if they stopped booing Bo Bichette yet over there. Because they are what are they? Let me just cheat
Seven
here.
and six. 7-6.
No, I think they are.
7-6. What the fuck? 7-6.
What the fuck? Okay. Fuck. I can't believe this
How many
guy.
times I gotta say it?
You think we were best friends for 50 years? The guy's got a right to talk
How
to
many
me
times
like
you guys
that.
have saying
Anyway.
it 3 or 4 times? You still
Okay,
go with
all
it.
right already. Forgive my friend. If I knew I could get up in a half an hour, I'd get on my knees and ask you forgiveness, but I can't.
I don't know
So
if I
fuck
do
it.
it. I don't know if I do it.
Fuck it. Fuck it. No, let's move on. Move on. 7-6, Mets. Sorry, Faz. 7-6. But they're still booing Bo, I think.
Well,
Um,
for how much he's making, I'd boo him just because I could.
Yeah. Well, the first few games of the season, he struck out more than he did anything else. I think it took longer for him to get to the batter's box, and than it did for him to be up at the plate. Anyways, I said to you, and I said to a lot of people who said, "Oh, they're going to miss Bo." No, they're not.
No, not.
I think they're going to miss Bo. You and I have had that conversation. I don't think they're going to miss Bo. Okamoto is good. He's coming around. He's getting used to the major league thing. I think he's going to be spectacular once he gets in there for a while and everything. He plays his position well. I've seen him make a few really nice plays at third base. So, I mean, what are they missing? I don't think he's going to get as injured as much as Bo did.
And that was the key thing, is that for the last 3 seasons, Bo was hurt a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so he wasn't injured in the beginning. He was young, stupid, and he could do it. But as he was getting older, because he was with the Jays for 10 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, he's been with them for a while.
Yeah, and so he was injured for the last 3. So why are you concerned about paying this guy a shitload of money when you know he's going to miss half a season and probably most of the playoffs? You know what? Let him go. Take that cash. This other guy, they got him from Japan, yes?
Yeah, he came over and he was hitting 40 home runs and I don't know how many RBIs. Very consistent hitter, and played his position well. A lot of positive feedback was coming when they picked him up, and I think he's going to be a good pickup. I was never worried. I was totally happy with the team that they brought to the field to play to the regular season. So I don't know why everybody. And as far as what's his name, Kyle Tucker, that the Dodgers took, good riddance to him. The guy we were discussing, I think, in another podcast. He broke his hand. He's injury prone too. So you're gonna want to pay that much money for a guy who how many games are you gonna get on? That's fine. And if they get a full season out of him, congratulations. Well done. Your hero biscuit is in the mail. But you know what? I don't care. I'm glad they didn't pick him up. I'm glad the Jays didn't pick him up. I'm totally happy, even with the injuries and the slow start. I'm totally happy with the team that's on the field for us now.
Yeah, for getting him for $60 million, you know what? You dump that guy's ass, and unfortunately with that, you only get 4 decent players. For $60 million. You only get 4, $15 million each. But
yeah,
I would rather add the 4 decent players than that clown.
Yeah. I was when he went with the Dodgers. The one thing I was just glad it was over because there was so much bullshit going around about, oh, he was seen with George Springer. Oh, he's close to signing. Oh, now there's another team. And then the Dodgers come out of the Dodgers were kind of there anyways as a potential. So they got him. Like I said, the Dodgers are pulling a George Steinbrenner. They're buying themselves a World Series. And if that's what they want to do with their money, that's fine. But I respect the team that does what the Jays do and a few other like the other teams like the Brewers and like you said the Royals. I kind of look at them as a team that to look out for, even though they've had a slow start. And the Reds, um, yeah, go ahead and buy your team, and you know if that makes you feel better because you know it seems to me that the organization is as arrogant as George Steinbrenner was when he bought a World Series for the Yankees. But then again, when he had the team too, he also showed the major leagues and all the fan that you know you can spend all the money in the world and buy all these players. It doesn't mean they're all going to play well together. And remember the years they didn't.
Yeah.
And he put out a lot of money. So we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up with this. One thing I would like to say is, um, even though technically baseball doesn't have a cap, um, they do have this math formula of how much you can spend, whatever. And if you go over, you have to pay a tax. You know what? Other sports have caps, but somehow teams are able to work around that. I think baseball needs to put in a hard cap and say, you know what, L.A. Yankees, Toronto, who last year had the fifth highest salary, right? Just say, look, this is what you can spend. You can't go out and get any more guys because we got the smaller market teams who they're getting money from, obviously. But no one wants to go there because they can't go over the cap. They can't afford to go
you can't afford
imaginary cap, right? But anyways, that's a whole different topic. I think let's get this bad boy wrapped up for today. So at that, I am looking forward to the rest of the baseball season. I think that the teams who need to be there will be there. There will be a couple of surprises, and like I'm saying, I think Cincinnati is going to shock the shit out of a lot of people.
Well, I'd like to see that.
And I think KC will make the playoffs. I don't know how far they'll get. I think KC will make the playoffs. The Brewers have been good for a while. I don't know what people are not talking about.
Yeah, when they look at the Brewers and they make these faces.
Few years. Like they're always up there.
Like I said, it wasn't just last. Yeah, like you said, it wasn't just last year. They've always been a team that's been more than competitive.
No one cares to talk about them. Okay,
right.
So anyways, we're gonna wrap it up. Just a reminder, starting not this weekend, but next Friday, we're gonna start our wrestling channel. It's called Turnbuckle Time Machine. Sounds exciting. I know. We're gonna start off.
I can hardly wait.
Just with the typical WrestleMania predictions. I don't know if we're gonna do them all because so many of those matches just absolutely fucking suck. But we'll see. And that one will be coming out. Like I said, the first episode will be next Friday. And we'll keep on doing this one. If you have any requests for any topics that you want to discuss, let us know. Put it in the comments. Otherwise, for this one here, if you enjoyed this one, subscribe. Notification bell. Ding, ding, ding. Like, share, comment.
Comment, please. The last one we got lots of comments on. That's very encouraging. Yes. Let's keep the momentum going, folks, and feel free. You know, show us something. Tell us something that we can have open discussion about in the comments. You know, say something that you might not agree with. If you don't agree with us, that's fine. Comment.
Yeah.
Good luck. But they can try. No,
right.
Joking, folks. Comment. You'll be happy you did.
And so will we. Okay. So that's it. Rick, thanks for stopping by. All right.
Anyways, folks, I'm done. It was a great time Check out our channel. Believe me, if you're a wrestling fan, you're going to enjoy it 20 million times over.
All right. Thank you, Richard. See you next week.
Okay, Johnny.